Summer hockey is back at Rogers Place. This Saturday at 4, it's the Oil Kings home opener against the Red Deer Rebels.
Family fun that's second to none with Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less.
Shake it off with a post-game concert from Canada's #1 Swiftie tribute artist, plus bracelet making on the concourse.
The Edmonton Oil Kings are Edmonton's first choice for family entertainment. Home openers Saturday at 4.
Great seats at Rogers Place start at only $20 at oilkings.ca.
This is Sports 1440 and the all-new Fantasy Frenzy with Halley and Douglas.
Presented by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
Thank you guys for tuning into Fantasy Frenzy here on Sports 1440, streaming on Sports 1440, Facebook, YouTube, X, and Instagram. Fantasy Frenzy, as always, brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky, online at wilhaukbeefjerky.com. Nothing seems finer than going out and grabbing a bag of Wilhauk Beef Jerky and then sitting down and watching some football tonight. We got Thursday night football, Dolphins, Bills. Should be an interesting one. Could the seat get any hotter for Mike McDaniel down in Miami? If they start 0-3, will there be changes, and what might happen? My prediction, at some point this year or at the end of the season, he is let go. And then he goes and joins a team and becomes one heck of an offensive coordinator once again. And Jesse Minter from the LA Chargers becomes the next head coach of the Miami Dolphins.
Wow, that's a series of predictions all rolled into one.
That's my bold predictions here. You don't get those anywhere else, only here on Fantasy Frenzy. Connor, Halley, Brandon Douglas with you here. We got Josh Fenwick keeping us on track on the stream, and Sam the intern on the ones and twos, playing the music, keeping the mics going. Appreciate those guys as always. Our text line, 1-833-401-1440 if you want to get in on the conversation. Of course, you can always reach us through the YouTube chat. I like jumping in there every once in a while. Of course, that's where Josh will do a lot of the talking with you back and forth. But keep those messages rolling in. And then, of course, if you want to email Connor at Sports1440 and Brandon at Sports1440 as well. We could probably talk a little bit about the Edmonton Oilers today as Group 1 out on the ice today. That includes the captain, Connor McDavid. I don't know if you guys went over it already, Duke, but lines, Mangiapane, McDavid, Tomaszek. I was listening to how Laddie Schmid was saying it because I want to use the Czech pronunciation.
Get it from the source.
Tomaszek. Henrique with Nuge and Savoy. You've got Jones, Philip Lazar, then Rem Pitlick, Marjala, Griffith, and then the fifth line, Lewandowski, Grube, Petrov. Back end, Ekholm, Bouchard, Stillman, Stetcher, Lappinen, Regula, and then Bo Akey. Defensively in the, we'll see what Group 2 has to behold. And then Jason Gregor also, including that Zach Hyman is skating on his own as he continues to rehab. We heard comments from Zach Hyman yesterday on the show. One of the good guys. I feel like just one of the good dudes on this team. Talked about, it's a little bit risky with a serious injury to set a date of when you want to return by, because then if you don't get there, it's disappointment and people are wondering, is it more serious than they're leading on? So with his wrist, obviously he's just going to take it day by day. I don't think he's going to be ready for the start of the season, which could give opportunities to some younger players, perhaps in the top 6. But again, ways to go before we even get to that. Duke, I don't know if you guys get to jump in on it and what the people's thoughts were, but it's just nice to have hockey back. I'm like, hey, summer was great. Love that the NFL returned, but something changes just a little bit in this city. People kind of ramp it up a little bit more when the Oilers hit the ice, and they're officially back. Preseason will be here on Sunday, which is wild to me.
It is a little crazy to think about already here as September, the first half of it kind of blew by, to be honest. And I think the return of football helped with that a little bit, kind of makes the week seem a little bit shorter when you're really only waiting for Thursday night, some Friday night college, CFL, of course, Friday and Saturday, and then the full NFL slate. So I'm right there with you. I'm excited for the return of hockey and seeing some of these new players for the Oilers finally take the ice. We actually get to see what Ike Howard looks like, not just hear reports of what he was like playing at Michigan State and maybe digging up some film of highlights of some of his better goals. How much of a step has Matt Savoy taken in the offseason, getting stronger, getting as big as possible to compete against men? Those are two of the most intriguing names here at camp, I think, along with the new acquisitions who you mentioned are skating with Connor McDavid this morning, Mangiapane and Tomashek. So all that rolled in, I still think a large contingency of Oilers fans are really only worried about one thing. They are less concerned about who is skating with Connor McDavid and more concerned with when will he be putting pen to paper on a potential contract extension.
That's it. I mean, that's something that, we're going to be talking about for
until it happens.
Until it happens. One text will come in a day at least. Hey guys, any update? No.
Short answer.
Not quite. We're hoping for it, but no, not quite there. Yet the text line 1-833-401-1440. I should mention Giselle Espinales is going to join us from NBC6 down in South Florida. We'll talk a little bit about the game tonight. I know you guys had Lance Lazowski on, former Sabres reporter, now covering the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go the other direction, talk about the Dolphins, who are very intriguing going into this game tonight. 0-2. In the back of my mind, I'm like, they can still put up points. I mean, this offense has the firepower to do so, but this Bills team is good. I'm not going to lie. I took the Bills in the survivor pool. Even though divisional matchups can be a little testy, I don't see, even if it's close, any way the Bills lose this game tonight, Duke.
I have a hard time envisioning it as well. For the sake of my head-to-head picks with Kevin Karras, I'm hoping the Dolphins offense can maybe build on some of the momentum they had last week against New England and get some points on the board and keep it close. The biggest area of concern for me is that the Dolphins secondary is really bad and Josh Allen is among the best passers in the league. So
some say really good.
That term has been thrown around from time to time. So I think that I don't know what's the total, what's the over under total for this game. That might be where my personal sprinkle lies for tonight. I'm seeing it at 50.5 right now. I love that line. And I'm probably I'll be rooting for the Dolphins to cover 11.5 points just so the skunking that Kevin's currently laying on me and our head-to-head picks doesn't continue. 6 in a row he's taken off me after I started 2-0. Tough scene.
Well, Colts first game lost 33-8.
The offense was essentially non-existent in that one.
Against the Patriots, 33-27. So the over would have hit in that game.
Trending.
The defense is leaky and the Bills' offense is really good. So I would expect a point night for Buffalo.
And then hopefully, like I said, if we're trying to justify how we're going on this, like if there's an area of the Bills that you say, all right, where do they struggle? Well, in the Ravens game, what do we see? They are not particularly good against the run still just yet. What can the Dolphins do well? Devon Achane is still one of the most dynamic backs in the league. And if we're talking fantasy implications, like he's actually had a very strong start of the season, found the end zone in that blowout week 1 loss to Indy. And then last week, he was among the best performers across the entire league. The likes of Jonathan Taylor, running back specifically, still outperforming him, but still really good. So I'm thinking that would be priority for the Dolphins tonight. Do a little ground and pound, utilize a couple different backs, and see if they can get the Bills on their heels a little bit.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, just keep Josh Allen off the field as long as you can.
Extend those drives, man. Limit possessions. And I still think, even with that being said, that's the Dolphins' path to victory. I don't know how successful they'll be in it over the course of a full contest. That 50-point over, 50.5 points is looming pretty large in my sight lines here.
Camrose Chris texting in 1-833-401-1440. Duke, is it time to panic about our Texans yet?
No, I've addressed this a couple times already. Yesterday, I guess, exclusively. I was concerned about the O-line coming in. Still am. I won't panic about the Texans until the defense really gives me a reason to. Because the defense will keep them in games no matter what. It is among the very best top to bottom in the entire NFL. Great guys in the secondary, lethal front four, especially on the ends with Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter. So I'm not going to panic yet. You lost to 2 good teams. You lost to 2 playoff teams, 2 division winning teams. Now, if you start 0-3 this weekend playing the Jags, the panic might start to creep in for me.
The way I look at it for you guys right now, being the Houston Texans, like if on September 29th, the month wraps up, everyone's getting paid and all that stuff, it could easily be 2-2. Jags and Titans are your next two opponents. But then you got the Ravens, could be frisky. You got the Seahawks, who could be frisky. You got the Niners, who they get healthy, frisky. Then you got the Broncos. So all of a sudden, like that first place schedule that you guys have, getting the Ravens, and I guess the Broncos must be your extra team this year.
I think we play the AFC West.
Oh, that means our two teams play?
I think so.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, yeah, because I think the Chargers do get the Colts as well. So, yeah. So it's a bit of a tougher schedule. That means you get the Chiefs as well. That means the Raiders, who I will say I do think are better than last year. Yeah, I don't think it's time to panic, but
it's not time to not panic.
It's not time to not.
It to me, it all hinges on Sunday's game against Jackson.
It's time to work.
Yeah, quit lollygagging, as CJ Stroud would say.
Slurby Sean texting in, what do you guys think about this trade I've proposed? My Pacheco and Ladd for Rice and Mason. Well, obviously Rashee Rice is not going to play for another month. Then you're going to have to see how he is. Like, he'll be a good player, no doubt about that. Mason, I don't mind. I can't, like, I think Ladd is going to get his, although right now, like,
spreading the ball around.
They don't care about individual statistics. It's going to be Johnson. It's going to be McConkey. It's going to be Keenan Allen. I don't mind it. I think you probably get the highest upside with Rashee Rice. So if you do that, I think that's an okay deal, despite obviously the sacrifice you make of not getting him for a couple weeks. So yeah, I don't mind that. I guess it depends what the other person on the other side of the trade thinks about it. But yeah, for you, I like it. MTR says, I have HN this week. I'm playing you guys. Yeah. 2-0.
Very instrumental in my authoritative win in week number 2 in my Dynasty League.
Good player. No doubt about it. That's why, like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, the Dolphins offense could pop
Why
off.
are the Dolphins bad? Like, that's what Langer's like, why was the offense so poor in week 1?
Yeah, and maybe it's just Colts have a good defense, a little bit of rust. Week 2, the offense kind of found its game again. Maybe it's back. Diener texting in. First time text, or at least first time giving us the name. I got a couple trades in my fantasy football league. It's a half-point PPR, 1 flex. Just wondering what you think. I get Kraft, Henry, Olave for Collins, Quentin Johnston, and Trey Henderson. Oh, man, I don't like Henry. He's starting in one of my leagues. It's like 4 points a game. Olave, as a player, I like. As a fantasy football player, I don't.
Derrick Henry or Hunter Henry?
Yeah, when I first read it, I went Derrick. And then I went back to Hunter. If you're getting Derrick Henry, that just seems crazy, though.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
Yeah. Tucker Kraft has like been the best tight end through a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I think maybe except Tyler Warren. But Kraft's found the end zone. Hunter Henry. So 2 tight ends? That's wild. Collins, I think I like the person getting Collins, Johnston, and Henderson. I think I like that side more, which would be what Diener is trading away.
He's trading away, yeah.
So I don't really love that. This other one, Jaden Daniels and Puka Nacua for Gibbs, McMillan, and Jordan Love.
Give me Love, McMillan, and Gibbs 100%. All day.
I agree. Like, I think Gibbs' upside as the running back and McMillan way out trumps how much better Daniels is than Love.
Yeah.
So I hate to say it, Diener, but I think currently you would be on the losing side of both of these trades. Now, I the way I think about this has to be Derrick Henry in this trade.
Well, then that makes things different.
I don't know.
If you got Kraft, Derrick Henry, and Chris Olave, I would do it.
That one's a lot closer. The other one's not very close for me.
The other one, yeah. No. Gibbs is like top 3 pick. Mm-hmm. Tedero is only going to get better.
And he's already looked pretty good.
He's looked pretty good.
He kind of looks like really the only player in the offense that Bryce Young wants to throw to.
Yeah. I think we Nix the second trade diener for sure. Steve says, hey, guys, do you think Wan'Dale Robinson will keep it up?
Is Russ Wilson going to keep being the quarterback? After week 1, we thought the answer was no. After week 2, kind of seems like yes. But what do we know about the Cowboys? Their defense isn't very good. Their offense is. It's just a typical shootout game. The Giants' schedule is not easy. And with Malik Neighbors eating a vast majority of targets, if I were to just straight up tell you one way or the other, I would say no. I don't think Wan'Dale Robinson is a high-end season-long option.
I mean, he got 8 targets in the first game. So I don't mind that. 10 targets in game 2. That was obviously a shootout game, though. Mm-hmm. I mean, if their defense is going to give up points like that, and all of a sudden we're getting into shootouts.
But is that what we expected of the Giants' defense? We know there's like the secondary isn't super elite, but up front they should be.
Yeah, but
we have not seen it through 2 weeks.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think he's a wide receiver 1 or 2, but if you had to use him in your flex or as a third, I don't hate it.
That you could do a lot worse.
Yeah. And then they like him. He's 18 targets in 2 games, averaging 9. That's math on the fly. I don't think that's terrible. Let's take a break here. When we come back, we'll talk some Miami Dolphins. We'll get the lowdown on what really is happening with this team. And, could you expect Tua to have a chance tonight? Can he lead the offense? And will that benefit your fantasy football teams if you've got, say, Waddle, HN, Tyreek Hill, those types of guys? We'll be joined by Giselle Espinal coming up next from NBC6 down in South Florida. It is Fantasy Frenzy here on Sports 1440, also streaming on our YouTube, Facebook, and X, brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
Right now is your chance to get in on Play Alberta's biggest offer ever. For a limited time only, new players can get up to a $1,000 casino bonus when they sign up. There's never been a better time to join the fun. Visit playalberta.ca today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
While the players gear up for the new season, make sure you gear up your snack game with Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
Okay, this jumbo bag of beef jerky should last the preseason.
Whoa. Will Hawk has more than just beef jerky. There's smoked sausage and pepperoni products, too.
Well, how about we have jerky for Eastern opponents and pepperoni sticks when we face the Western teams?
Now that sounds like a Will Hockey game plan.
Will Hawk Beef Jerky, because you don't win games with salad. Only available in Leduc.
At Fountain Tire, we're fluent in saving you money.
Fluent?
Yes, we've mastered the language of deals. Like right now, you can save up to 25% off select tires and up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires. Plus, $50 off $150 service when you buy those tires. All until October 18th.
I'm sorry, I don't speak deals.
Spend less, save more when you buy round black things from us.
Oh, got it.
Restrictions apply. Book your appointment online today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
No fluff, no fillers, just pure entertainment. Sports 1440 brings the heat with bold opinions, big personalities, and Edmonton's fiercest fans. This is your turf. This is Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
At Fountain Tire, you can save $50 off tire storage with the purchase of 4 select tires now until September 30th at participating locations.
Okay.
Or you could squeeze them into your backseat, possibly causing upholstery damage, drive them home, struggle, sweating buckets trying to get them out of your vehicle, resulting in you feeling guilty for not going to the gym more often, or at all. But at the end of the day, it's your choice. Totally up to you.
Definitely $50 off the tire storage.
You got it. Book your appointment today at fountaintire.com. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Groceries, mortgage payments, family holidays, a new car. That's what profit shares look like for Vision Credit Union members. Each year, we return about 75% of our profits, $35 million last year, to the people who bank with us. Because at Vision Credit Union, when you're an owner, you get your share. Why not get yours? Learn how at whatsyourshare.ca. That's whatsyourshare.ca.
Friday, September 26th. Get ready for a one-of-a-kind experience with 2 of hockey's most legendary enforcers. Century Casino Edmonton presents an evening with Marty McSorley and Kevin McClelland. Hosted by Louis DeBrusque, they'll take the stage for an unfiltered night of stories, laughs, and memories. Hockey legends Marty McSorley and Kevin McClelland at Century Casino, Edmonton. Friday, September 26th. Hurry, get your tickets now from Ticketmaster.
Every coach needs a game plan. Plan your fantasy frenzy with Halley and Douglas right here on Edmonton's Sports 1440.
Presented by Will Hawk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
It's 11:22. Welcome back to Fantasy Frenzy here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley, Brandon Douglas with you here. We got Josh Fenwick and Young Sam, the intern, keeping us on track as we roll through this Thursday edition of the show. Of course, tonight, Dolphins and Bills should be a fun one for the Bills. Heavy favorites, 11.5 points. The over set at 50.5. So fireworks, we're hoping we see some tonight when these two teams meet out in Buffalo. Text line 1-833-401-1440. Fantasy Frenzy is brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky. Check them out online at willhawkbeefjerky.com. We are going to head down to South Beach, talk a little bit about the Dolphins. This segment brought to you by elksnation.ca. Go check them out. The most in-depth EE football coverage you're going to find out there. For the podcast, you can watch 2 episodes weekly on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts from with Eddie Steele and Declan Kruger, Elks Nation, and go check out the articles as well. We bring in Giselle Espinales, covers the Miami Dolphins with NBC 6 down in South Florida. Giselle, thanks so much for doing this today. How are you?
Well, I like that intro, though, that the Bills are going to be the ones that are going to have a good time tonight, because you were absolutely right about that one.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of like I won't speak for everyone up here, but I'm interested to see, because it still feels like the Miami Dolphins have that firepower when they get things rolling. You know, Devon Achane, you got Jalen Waddle, of course, Tyreek Hill. It all kind of falls on the offensive line and Tua Tagovailoa. So what have you seen from Tua this season versus what you've seen from him in years past when he was winning games for this team?
Sounding mean about it, I'm like, what is he seeing out there? Because it's been kind of hard to see the regression of Tua when they had that great season back in 2023 and all the things he was able to do. He was able to be and look more mobile, where now it just seems he's just stiff. You know, he has gone through a lot of the injuries. He ended the season last year dealing with that hip stuff, but now it just feels there's something not clicking. Even when everybody was freaking out when he threw that 47-yard pass to Tyreek, the first one that he had, I think it was in like a year or so, over 30 yards. That alone was like, that's it. That's the best that they could come up with. Moments where you're seeing Tyreek down the field, wide open, Tua overthrows him. So it's been interesting to watch him, because as a 6-year quarterback, you would think, okay, he's gone through changes as head coach. He's had different OCs, things like that. And it just feels now he's gone a step backwards in a season where they were thinking like, hey, they do have the power. They do have Tyreek Hill. Right now, Jalen Waddle, they did say he was questionable. He's had better connections with Waddle, and we saw that throughout training camp too, while Tyreek was out dealing with an injury on his own. But it just feels like right now Tua is either going through some things. His O-line is kind of banged up. He lost 2 of his starters to injury. So maybe it's just him not really finding a rhythm. But at this point in his career, he has to work with what he has.
No, and it's kind of stealing the headlines right now. Some regression from head coach Mike McDaniel with this team. What have you seen from the head coach this season? Because, that energy that we saw in the first couple of years from afar doesn't seem to be there.
When we first started, we thinking back, it was like, is McDaniel going to be like McDone soon? And it's always hard to say, because this franchise has gone through its list of quarterbacks, its list of controversies, its list of head coaches. And with McDaniel, he started in coming here. He's an offensive mind. He's coming under Kyle Shanahan, savant, all these interesting words to describe him, right? That first season. And I felt the juice. I was like, man, they do need a young coach. They do need a guy like this to get this locker room. Right now, with an 0-2 on the season record, it feels like he's a little bit deflated. Last year, we heard a lot about the issues with culture when it came to, being strong with giving the players fines of players that were late. We heard that stuff about Jalen Ramsey and Tyreek Hill being captains, but also taking advantage of that role. And now it just feels like McDaniel, I don't want to say he's lost the locker room, but at this point, there's still, the players are still saying really great things about him. We'd ride with him. But for now, it just feels like he's a little bit deflated compared to years past, where it was always like that go lucky stuff. Like every time he comes in, he would always crack a joke. And now it just feels like it's more serious, as I know he doesn't care about his job security, but that whole bubble of job security starts to loom a little bit bigger.
Talking Thursday Night Football with Giselle Espinal from NBC6 down in South Florida. So, Giselle, I want to focus in on a couple more players on the offensive side of the ball and, the two primary pass catchers for this team through the season's early going, and that's, of course, wide receiver Tyreek Hill, but running back Devon Achane, who has shown such an affinity for being a pass catcher and making things happen in space. So, Tyreek Hill pops off last week after a very slow start to the season. It's kind of been the scuttle a lot here in the offseason heading into the start of the campaign. How long will he be a Miami Dolphin? And do you think that exclusively hinges on the success of the team? And if they can turn things around, he'll stay there and play out the rest of the contract? Or do you think it's more certain that he could be playing for someone else, after the trade deadline or sooner?
I mean, it's hard to say because there was that report from Adam Schefter of NFL Network, and he was saying that there's no teams calling. So how can you leave when you don't have teams calling? I think Tyreek Hill is a very interesting player. Just seeing him in the locker room, seeing how he interacts with his teammates and stuff, he's having fun. And then there's moments like that where you see him get frustrated, or you see him really soak in what's being asked of him. I think he finishes as a Miami Dolphin. I don't think if that's what's hard to say is if he ends up getting traded, then what assets do the Dolphins get back? People are thinking the future, things like that. No, this is a team that wants to win now. You're obviously not going to pick up a quarterback off the street to help, if Tua isn't the answer when it comes to connecting with Tyreek Hill. But I just think with a player like Hill, knowing that he can be open and make those runs and be able to, there was that catch, I think was it late in the game against the Patriots, where it's if he would have caught that, that would have been a touchdown. And this is a completely different ball game. All of a sudden, everybody is all fine and dandy with a 1-1 record. But knowing that he has those frustrations that continue to build up, it's hard to see if he ends up his season as a Dolphin. But, I think he's someone that really is competitive. It's the only thing about him that I think continues to grow, that his competitive nature is really there. He really wants to catch passes, but he also wants to have his quarterback be able to make those passes to be able to make big plays.
And then that second name I mentioned, Achane. The Bills defense, they showed that they can be susceptible to the run, particularly in week 1 against the Ravens. Do you see Achane taking on a pretty heavy workload tonight? And when you're comparing him to big names like Hill and Waddle, is at this stage, is Achane really the straw that stirs the drink for this offense?
What I love about Achane's game? He's just so strong and powers his way through getting extra yards after he has all these defenders on him. So I think he's underestimated when it comes to the running back position. Everyone's like, oh, that's all they can do. It's no, he's someone that has showed us he can make explosive plays. And what's interesting that started training camp was Tyreek Hill with his opinion about a power back, and it shouldn't be Devon Achane. Take him out of those third down situation. It's no, he's proven that he can easily go and make a play big, get the first down, get a touchdown with whatever's being thrown at him. And I think that's his attitude of always. When we get to talk to him, he always says, whatever's called, I'm going to try to make a play. And that's the kind of playmakers that they need on this team when things are going bad, because you can't have them give up even if the score is down by 2 touchdowns. You got to keep powering through. And that's something that's really special about Devon Achane.
Miami Dolphins reporter with NBC6, Giselle Espinal, is our guest here on Fantasy Frenzy on Sports 1440. Last one for me for you, Giselle, and it's to the other side of the ball on the defense. Struggled to slow down the Colts in week number 1. Not much better necessarily against the Patriots last week. But up front, you got Chop Robinson, you got Bradley Chubb, you drafted Kenneth Grant. What are you seeing from the defense, particularly up front, which was supposed to be a strength of this group, that is kind of struggling to get off the ground a little bit here in the early going?
Because that's exactly what we said leading up into the season. That front seven is going to be incredible. You finally have a Bradley Chubb, a Jalen Phillips healthy. Then you also add Chop Robinson. You have a big guy like Kenneth Grant, and that guy is big and he can make big plays. I think the biggest struggle right now, it just feels like there's a disconnect. We knew going into the season that the secondary was going to have issues, right? But that front seven was supposed to be the one that stops the run, that those big guys knowing when to make the big plays, knowing how to get to the quarterback. We've seen glimpses of it with Chubb. He had his first sack in that first game, then had another one here against the Patriots. But I'm just beginning to think that there's some disconnect when it comes to who's calling what, who's the one that's going out there. Jordan Brooks, though, has said that he's one of the leaders that is stepping up on this team, and it's very clear that he's not going to let any of the bad decisions that are being made from on and off the field affect what's happening in the product, because he's playing hard knowing that, hey, they could be the biggest difference maker in a game. But I think right now the defense, I don't know, it's with Anthony Weaver, they had a good plan last year. And then this year just also feels like they have the players to do it. They have now all the guys that had come back from injury, they're playing hard, but it just seems to be a big disconnect. And I think the biggest frustration, besides the front seven not being able to stop the run, is this: you got wide receivers wide open. It's like, what's happening with the communication back there? And it's like, is anybody going to stop anything? Where some of these plays, you know, a lot of the guys that came in were late additions, which is always hard to get everybody on board. You got Minkah Fitzpatrick back, but he can't be the one leading everybody all the time back there to see like, hey, this guy's open, this guy's open. He can't be all across the field as well. So it just feels like there's like a weird disconnect, even though they have some big playmakers on that line.
So, Giselle, obviously tonight the task won't be easy against the Buffalo Bills, who have a lot of firepower. Seeing what you've seen from this Dolphins defense, who do you think the Bills should be utilizing the most? Is it the running game with James Cook? Could be the tight end Kincaid, or wideouts Josh Palmer and Keon Coleman? Where do you think the best, I guess, plan of attack would be for this Bills offense?
Yeah, I think the scary part is, can we talk about Josh Allen? Like, he's coming in there probably with like a face mask with a broken, I don't know what happened to him. He said he could breathe, but the fact that Ravens Bills game was probably one of the most exciting games I have ever watched in all the games that I've ever watched of football. And I've watched a lot of games, and it's like, he's probably going to be the threat that I wouldn't be surprised if it's underestimated by the Dolphins defense of he can use his legs, because in the end, the Bills are going to have playmakers no matter what. We know Josh Allen can keep plays alive, even if it's not him just, you know, whether it's him grabbing the first down or him making incredible throws for his receivers. But I think Josh Allen is going to be the one to have like a big game tonight, just because of what we saw, what we've been able to see he's capable of, even as he gets down hurt. And right now it's the Dolphins defense that's struggling in that part of just trying to stop anything. So it's kind of, they might even play just back there on the field, like let Josh Allen throw and then let his receivers make big plays, because right now that's the biggest struggle for the Dolphins, and it's the biggest asset for the Bills.
We're talking Miami Dolphins with Giselle Espinales here on Fantasy Frenzy. Just a couple more for you, Giselle. We appreciate your time. I want to ask you about Darren Waller. I know he's going to be out again tonight. What was the plan, do you think, in the offseason with Waller? I mean, did he have the expectations to be a focal point of this offense, and has it been tough without him?
I think when you don't have a player to fill that position of need, right? A tight end can be the big guy that goes through and powers through that defense. I don't understand the Darren Waller signing when it happened. I'm sorry, like a guy that came in, look, he was great. He really handled his first press conference really well, of like, I'm ready to play. But then we would see him out on the sidelines, back for training camp, and he's just doing conditioning. So obviously he's not football ready. And for me, I've never played football. So I can't say, like, how does your body go from 1 year, who knows how hard he really was training in that 1 year, not knowing he would ever come back to the game that he loved, to now trying to get him on this field. And McDaniel acknowledged this all the time. Look, it's not easy going from, getting him on to just even doing those joint practices in the off season to even try to play an NFL game. So I think it's a signing that probably, I don't want to say it was rushed. I do think it was a signing. Was this the right signing at the time when there was probably other tight ends open? I do know Tua likes signing Julian Hill, so we kind of had that option for now. But to me, I don't ever want to say it's a waste, because maybe he surprises us all in that first game. He has 2 touchdowns whenever he comes back to the field. But at this point, it just doesn't seem like he might ever get ready. And part of it is also the mental side of it. Is his mental side ready for that grind again? And maybe they're seeing something that we are not privy to see. Like, I see him out there and he's doing, when he's wearing his, the pads and he's running the drills, but it's like, when does that translate to game action? And so far it hasn't.
Now, final question for you, Giselle. I know in your Twitter bio you have proud University of Miami grad. So give me your 3 greatest Canes of all time.
That's a great question. 3 greatest Canes. I mean, we got to go with Ed Reed. When you meet this guy, like, he's one of the most fiery people I've ever met. And of course, the big plays that he had. Oh my gosh, I'm going to blank on a name here. Colts receiver. Reggie
Wayne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reggie Wayne.
I forgot of it. You caught me on the spot. Incredible. But also, I do like when they come back and they're talking about the U. Like, that's a big thing for me, just because of what they get to do. And right now, just because he's the coach of the team, let's just talk Mario Cristobal. I know he was an O-lineman, but, what he's been able to accomplish right now with this team, even though there's plenty of hurricane greats, we could say all the quarterbacks, all incredible. Sean Taylor, may he rest in peace, but that's incredible. I just was seeing old footage of all this stuff as we get ready for these big games coming up. And it's just incredible what he was able to see. Of course, his life's cut too short, but Mario Cristobal is a former player and now the head coach of the team. I mean, you guys need to be following the Canes too. This might be their year. I think it's setting up for a Georgia Miami college football playoff. I think, for Carson Beck, he's probably going to be really torn, but the Canes are legit and we're ready for that big game on Saturday against the Florida Gators.
Oh, we love the U, and I think they're going to get it done on Saturday, like you said, hosting the Gators. Well, Giselle, thanks so much for doing this today. Really appreciate it, and we'll have to get you on again later on in the season. There you go. That is Giselle Espinales, covers the Miami Dolphins for NBC6 down in South Florida. I have to ask that. Like, we've been lucky, Michigan graduates, now the U.
The U.
My top 3 Canes all time. I would be like Sean Taylor, because I bought his jersey for Washington.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even like them, but I bought his jersey. So Taylor has to be there. Ed Reed's a good one.
Like I'm biased to Andre Johnson.
Andre Johnson.
He helped me fall in love with football watching the Texans during those years. So going back to previously, obviously, I think Sean Taylor almost like has to be in everyone's. Like, he was so good. And then I'll go. I mean, like, it's still kind of hot in the streets right now with the Cowboys doc. I'll go with Michael Irvin as my third.
Because you can go back to like the early 90s, late 80s, and then you can do like the 2001 team, Jeremy Shockey, Greg Olson.
Right.
Like, so many good players.
The sixth floor crew. Is that what it was with Greg Olson, the rap that unfortunately got him in some hot water, but was pretty funny.
The third leg
Greg.
Some good stuff there. Canes are awesome. So yeah, big shout out to Giselle for hopping on the show today, talking to Miami Dolphins. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we got some messages rolling in here on the text line, 1-833-401-1440. Also, Waz and Slupe on the YouTube chat. So we'll get in on those when we return. It's Fantasy Frenzy here on Sports 1440, streaming on all of our channels, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram, brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
Some people wake up and get dressed for work in a suit and tie or a nice dress. At GS Construction, we're less fashion forward and more putting our best foot forward. We wear hard hats and steel toe boots, and most importantly, we wear 50 years of experience with pride. It's not glamorous, it's definitely not easy, but it matters. We do it well. So if you'd like to be part of something where your work matters, GS Construction is hiring. Just remember, when you come for an interview, ditch the tie. See more at gsconstruction.ca.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantor, proudly delivering world-class hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada since 2016. I'm thrilled to announce our in-house production of tool components and accessories for faster turnarounds and enhanced versatility. The future is here at Cantor.com.
Experience a season of superior luxury, performance, and savings. The Fall Experience event is on now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. The all-new redesigned 2026 XC90 is here. Come drive one today. You won't be disappointed. Finance or lease a 2026 XC40 from 1.99%. And right now, you can save $7,500 on remaining 2025 XC60s. The Fall Experience event is on now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Visit VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
While the players gear up for the new season, make sure you gear up your snack game with Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
Okay, this jumbo bag of beef jerky should last the preseason.
Whoa. Will Hawk has more than just beef jerky. There's smoked sausage and pepperoni products, too.
Well, how about we have jerky for Eastern opponents and pepperoni sticks when we face the Western teams?
Now that sounds like a Will Hockey game plan.
Will Hawk Beef Jerky, because you don't win games with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
A new Edmonton Oil Kings season hits different.
After a cruel summer, hockey is back at Rogers Place. This Saturday at 4, it's the Oil Kings home opener against the Red Deer Rebels.
Family fun that's second to none with Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less.
Shake it off with a post-game concert from Canada's #1 Swiftie tribute artist, plus bracelet making on the concourse.
The Edmonton Oil Kings are Edmonton's first choice for family entertainment. Home opener Saturday at 4.
Great seats at Rogers Place start at only $20 at oilkings.ca.
Blue Jays fans, this weekend and every weekend, you can catch Toronto Blue Jays ball games right here on Sports 1440. Ben Schulman provides the play-by-play. You provide the chips and beer. Check out the Blue Jays this weekend on Edmonton's home for sports. Sports 1440.
God said, I need somebody to get up before dawn, milk cows, work all day in the fields, milk cows again, eat supper, go to town, and stay all night at a meeting of the school board. So God made a farmer.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. We are so thankful God made a farmer. For the month of September, it is our goal to feed 500 families. With every vehicle sold, we will feed a family of 4. So please help us reach our goal. Visit us online at northgategm.com.
It's not about calendars or even thermometers. At Sherwood Honda, summer doesn't end till you take your foot off the gas. There's still so much driving to do, and not just the obligations. Beach days, getaways, just out cruising for fun? Sherwood Honda has fuel-efficient, dependable SUVs, hybrids, and crossovers to keep summer rolling till you're ready to put it in park. So if you still want summer, you sure would find your key to some more at Sherwood Honda.
Stop juggling lowest bid contractors, because at Wetaskiwin and Ready Mix, one call does it all. From concrete supply to cribbing and pumping, we've got your project covered. Locally owned and operated, Wetaskiwin and Ready Mix is proud to deliver on spec and on time every time, because we know quality concrete isn't cheap, and cheap concrete isn't quality. Send Wetaskiwin Ready Mix your blueprint. We'll handle the rest. Wetaskiwin Ready Mix, 780-352-4301.
Every coach needs a game plan. Plan your fantasy frenzy with Halley and Douglas right here on Edmonton's Sports 1440.
Presented by Will Hawk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
Welcome back to Fantasy Frenzy here on Sports 1440, streaming on Sports 1440's YouTube, Sports 1440 AM, Instagram, Sports 1440, Twitter, Sports 1440, and Facebook, Sports 1440. I think it's just YouTube and like TikTok where you have to drop the AM.
Someone beat it. Someone beat us to the handle.
Yeah. Whomst would have done it. But go give us a sub. We appreciate it. I want to dive in there in a second and get to some questions. We got other questions rolling into the text line, 1-833-401-1440, Fantasy Frenzy. As per usual, brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky. Let's say the text line, 1-833-401-1440. You guys already know that. I'm Connor Halley. He's Brandon Douglas. Radio Fundamentals. Got to get back to all that sort of thing. Josh Fenwick and Sam the intern with you here as well. We had Snoop Bay saying, what are your thoughts on Tyreek Hill? I have him at flex, but the news going around is a bit spicy, and the fines, not getting him the ball. I mean, off the field, he's going through it. Maybe the field will be a safe haven. I think at this point, I would still be keeping him in the flex spot.
Yeah, I think the days of him being a bona fide WR1 on any given fantasy team are at very minimum put on hold until this Dolphins offense shows that they can get back to previous levels, or if he were to maybe find himself on a new team. What teams do you think could be landing spots, Connor? I know we're getting a little ahead of ourselves because, as Giselle mentioned, like nobody's really calling about Tyreek Hill, which I think I find surprising, but he does come with some baggage, as you mentioned, off the field, going through it a little bit. So, let's just say there were teams calling. Who do you think they would be?
Well, got to be a contender. Got to be a team that needs wide out help. Oof.
Does a reunion with the Chiefs pique your interest at all?
Yeah, that makes sense. Bring him back to where he's familiar. That would actually make the most sense, I would say.
To me, it does. And then the other teams that would make sense don't, because of timeline. You talk about being a kid, and also trading in division doesn't happen very often. Like
Yeah.
a team like the Jets or Patriots would translate to me because they need wide receiver help. But would he be interested in going to those teams at this stage?
Like the Raiders. Would he want to go to the Raiders? They could use somebody outside of Jacoby Myers. Obviously, Amari Cooper retired. They had him for a reason.
Isn't Jacoby Myers' trade request still
Swap
pending?
him. Swap
Yeah,
him.
just it could be a seamless.
He's
swap.
a good player, man.
Very underrated, I think.
Yeah, he gets the ball in his hands. He's dangerous. Also, Waz asking, guys, I need some advice. Buddy in my league has Bowers and Juwan Johnson. Is Aaron Jones out? I need a tight end. Do I trade him either Jordan Mason or Kenneth Walker? I also have Chase Brown. Yeah, if you can, I mean, I don't think he's going to trade Bowers. If he is, go get it, Waz. Juwan Johnson, I do like.
Solid start to the year.
I do like him. Good tight end. Yeah, I think I would do that. I feel like Kenneth Walker's value is going to regress.
I feel like Seattle is just content on trotting out any like doesn't matter what running back. Could be Walker, could be Charbonnet, could be anyone else.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Like Walker's another name that like I feel like on a different team, given more legitimate RB1 reps, could be like a big time player.
Last year I grabbed Charbonnet because of the injuries. I think it was for our fantasy frenzy team. And it was just like he got in there for red zone and Walker couldn't stay healthy, and it was a good one.
Yeah.
I've stayed away from Walker for that reason.
So yeah, like if they're willing to take Walker in that deal, I would sooner move on from him than Jordan Mason just because of the Aaron Jones injury. And I think the way the Vikings backfield is trending, but I don't know if that would be enough to get that deal done.
Dave Q says Steelers have been rumored for Tyreek, and then Slurpee Sean said Baltimore. How much help does Lamar need?
He has DeAndre Hopkins. What does he need Tyreek Hill for?
Zay Flowers.
And Zay Flowers is having a great start to the year. Starting to maybe try and shake some of those labels put on him. And I think we've been guilty of it too, that like he's not like, would he be a WR1 on how many other teams?
Actually, like for fantasy purposes, he just doesn't score touchdowns at a big clip. That's the problem.
Because it's all the run game.
Yeah, but everything else, I think he does very well. So, yeah, that's the only deficiency is that he doesn't score that many touchdowns. But that hasn't stopped people with other players before. So, yeah. Darnold or Mac Jones this week? Who? Mac Jones.
Mac Jones.
Jones in the cards. I'm just scrolling through here.
Darnold and the Seahawks.
Can't even find Sam Darnold.
They're
or
on
the Seahawks.
They're on the bye. No,
they take on New Orleans. I think I lean Purdy still.
Purdy's replacement?
Oh, sorry, Mac Jones. Purdy is back on the field.
New Brock Purdy. The Brock Purdy Kyle Shanahan always wanted.
Yeah. I think I lean that way.
They're at home. Seahawks are on the road.
I'm replying to him via the text line. I think Mac.
Oh no, Seattle's at home as well. You know, I'll differ. I'll take Sam Darnold. Your boy JSN. He'll hold this over me all year as he continues to outperform Terry McLaurin at a pretty substantial rate through 2 weeks anyway. I think Seattle home against that New Orleans defense might have itself a field day.
Yeah. Well, I hope it happens.
I would love Mac Jones too because I'm a Ricky Pearsall guy, George Kittle guy. He's not. He's out so a while still, obviously. But yeah, Ricky Pearsall in particular. So, but I think Darnold might have the better week.
Paul says, "Hey guys, any sleepers to claim at tight end and running back?" I don't know if he's available in many leagues. I don't really know, but Najee Harris, I think, is going to pick up more and more carries for the Chargers. Tight end position. Who's out there?
I'll go back again. Like if he somehow has survived 2 waiver wire weeks of Harold Fannin Jr., I doubt it at this point. I think Juwan Johnson probably not available after week 1, and almost certainly not after week 2. But we just talked about him. Like I think that's a name to be interested in that still doesn't get a lot of big name recognition. I'm just trying to think else. Like the tight end spot is just so volatile.
Jatavian Sanders looked okay last week. Falcons are a bit tougher matchup for him, but like he's another one. I think, second-year guy out of Texas, I want to say. He might be someone. It's tough right now. It's going to vary so much week for week. And depending on how many teams are in your league, you're not going to be getting a starter, obviously. Oh, Nikki Northside, we're talking about the U. Don't forget the greatest return man of all time, Devin Hester. Yeah, another good one. There's just been so many. Like Santana Moss
it's been a really good program. Unfortunately,
Ray Lewis.
on a team success level, fallen on a little bit of harder times in recent years. But the way Clemson started, the way Miami started, I think they have to be the odds-on favorites for the ACC now.
Warren Sapp.
Yeah.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Vince Wilfork. Like, we haven't even got to, like, some of the skill positions yet. They've had so many good players.
Frank Gore. Did you say that?
No, they didn't even do Frank Gore. Soggy Corpses, I got Kincaid and Goddard for tight end. Goddard is predicted higher, but not enough for the win this week. What are the chances Kincaid balls out tonight against the Finns? It's possible. It's been possible the last year and 3 games. I didn't love him as much the first year, but projections are always going to be a downfall because it just takes one touchdown and all of a sudden there goes the projections. You blow it or you don't. I don't know right now with the
Is
Eagles.
Goddard healthy?
I think so. I don't know how many just players you're trusting well on that Eagles offense right now, though.
Especially if they're cracking down on the tush push. All of a sudden, Jalen Hurts value out the window. I kid.
Just trying to find Goddard here. Questionable to play. He's getting F ranking from Fantasy Pros.
Oh, all right then.
Projected 2.8 points. Kincaid it is.
Sounds like a Dalton Kincaid type of night then.
Mitch says, guys, here's a potential trade. I get Dak Prescott. I give away Judkins. I currently have 5 running backs, and Jaden Daniels is my quarterback. With the injury concerns to Daniels, I need a solid QB. I guess, who are your other running backs would be my quick question, but I would make that trade.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pro Dak.
Like I said, the Cowboys offense will probably put up some pretty big numbers all year.
Yeah, and they might be chasing, which is good for Dak.
Yeah.
Playbook Vic says, start or sit, half-point PPR, Elick, Ayumanor, or Hollywood Brown. What's Hollywood Brown's first name?
Marquise.
And who's his cousin?
AJ Brown.
Is it?
I have no idea.
I think he's got a pretty good cousin in the NFL. I'm going to go with the Medicine Hat Kid. Friend of the station, Elick.
Had a good week last week. Found the end zone, I think.
Hard to go against a Patrick Mahomes receiver, but whatever.
Who are the Chiefs? There's a lot of divisional games this week. Are the Chiefs one of them? No, they're in New York against the Giants.
Prime time.
Sunday Night Football. I'll take Hollywood Brown.
It's probably safer, but I'm just hoping for the upside.
Hey, I am too. He's emerging in that Titans offense that isn't going to be super dynamic most games, I think, but one of Cam Ward's favorite targets early on.
Dave Q says his cousin is Antonio. That's the one. Just quickly, Jesse says Pearsall or Jennings if Jennings is ready to go. Duke's team Ricky Pearsall.
I'm team Ricky Pearsall.
HVAC Nick, you had me laughing with this one. Who are you losers picking in the survivor pool this week? I hope you're all wrong. This is my only form of fantasy football, so I'm banking on winning it all. I'm taking the Bills tonight. How about you, Duke?
I might just pick against the Saints every week or every other week. They play Seattle, who is not a great team, but I picked the Cardinals to beat the Saints in week 1, who are also, they're 2-0, so who am I to say? I might take the Chiefs, to be honest, against the Giants on Sunday Night Football.
It's probably a safe pick. Greater Man Jay says, morning, guys. Yesterday you were talking about Ogopogo. There's a brand new YouTube short about Ogopogo Lake in the Okanagan. It's fascinating. It's a retired couple that has pictures. Greater Man Jay, can you send me that link? I'd be down to watch that.
Really quickly before we wrap on, monsters and lakes and topic yesterday, Loch Ness a little bit. My 5th topic for in or out today, Connor. The CIA was officially launched this day, 1947, I think it was. The CIA whacked JFK. Are you in or are you out?
I don't know enough about it.
You got to learn.
Dale Gribble on King of the Hill thought it was, but then one day, he went in and saw Dealey Plaza, and he's like, it all makes sense. It's what they're saying. It's true. So I guess I'm out.
the grassy knoll. Second shooter.
Yeah. I'm aware, but
too many inconsistencies for me.
I'm not informed enough. Thank you guys for tuning into the show today. We do appreciate it. Also, big thanks to Giselle Espinales for joining us. Coming up next, Lowdown with Lowtide. Right now, the Sports 1440 update brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky, online at willhawkbeefjerky.com. Only available in Leduc.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Oilers training starts today with McDavid, Tomasek, and Mangiapane all on one line to start things off. Zach Hyman is also skating on his own in the main rink today as he is still recovering from wrist surgery. Around the MLB, the Tigers lead the Guardians in the bottom of the third, while the Mets are currently tied with the Padres. Blue Jays are currently trailing the Rays 3-0, and the Red Sox are currently down to the Athletics. And tonight in the NFL, the Dolphins take on the Bills as they look to continue to be undefeated this NFL season. And that's all for your Sports 1440 Sports Update.